There we are. We're going to have a change in our programming. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing that we're able to be so flexible and have people in the wings ready to work. So, you know, this young woman that's in front of you is Zoriya. Zoriya is one of the forces in our neighborhood, the Tenderloin. You know, a lot of folks don't understand that the Tenderloin is a really vibrant community and has a long history of activism, of art, different manifestations of art. Is that right? Yeah. But today we're going to concentrate on poetry. You know that Zoriya is here. I see Artsy Granny's in the house. Mr. Charles Blackwell will be gracing us with some of his poetry later. We have a special guest, Bill. What's your last name again, Bill? Mercer. Bill Mercer is going to substitute for us. So we're really looking forward again to being able to bring a poetry-centric gig here for our Art in the Park. So enough of me. You'll hear me all afternoon. But like right now, let's have a round of applause for Miss Zoriya.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome to Art in the Park. My first poem is one that I wrote especially for this, and it's entitled Art in the Park. An oasis in the city, filled with sounds and bustle of life on the edge. A respite when the world goes crazy, where strangers connect and the noise of life is wrapped in life. As children play and music swells, we share our gifts and spread the love. Now, I read a lot of poetry about homelessness and poverty because I've been in both of those situations. Still am. Not. But I think these are topics that don't get brought out enough in literature. And I think it's an important way to educate people that homeless people and people who are poor are still people who have dignity. This next one is titled Grace. And I wrote this at a time when I was on the street. And it's something that I think resonates with people who have been homeless or who are homeless. And this one is titled Grace. As I walk the cruel streets, I am aware people looking, but trying not to stare at me in my rags. Nervously, they hurry by, moving a little faster than before I was seen. Afraid. Will I ask for money? Will I steal something? Will I do something crazy? Call the cops! Call the cops! I am your conscience. I am what you fear most. I'm a nagging reminder that for the grace of God, you could be me. Tender streets. The chatter of shopping carts announced their presence. Shadowed figures like insects convey their quarry to the hive. Carts overflow with fading memories and broken dreams, not so distant, yet long ago. Through the Tenderloin they ramble, murmured curses against the wind. Bitter rain like needles falls, piercing windburned skin. Sometimes it is swarms, sometimes alone, searching, seeking a place to be. Under an overhang, some may pause, remembering something that once was. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, specters of another time. Wistful smiles crease once attractive faces, hoping to find what they lost, to bring back the days when life was not so hard. Strangers stop to stare, shake their heads in disdain, never knowing the truth of their pain, their shame. And still they soldier on, perhaps down the street or in some alley, they'll find their answers. But for now, another drink, another shot, another hit makes the cold, dank night bearable. As they go along in perpetual motion, pushing their precious cargo of fading memories and rings of broken dreams. Through the tender streets they roam, going somewhere, but going nowhere. This is one that a friend of mine wrote a long time ago, back, a year ago, September. She died this past year. In September, died in a terrible traffic accident. Her name is Marlene Aaron. She was an artist and poet and a good friend to me. She was one of the first friends I made here in San Francisco back in 2000. It's titled, My Protest. I'm going to make my art, and that will be my protest. I'm going to lift my face to the sun, and that will be my protest. I'm going to be thankful I can walk on sand dunes and pick up trash and be grateful for the day and talk to strangers. And those will be my protest. I'm going to make huge and small and profound works of art and paint lots of faces of my brother, because if he were alive, he would also protest. I'm going to listen to music that friends make and laugh and share a drink or a dessert and make new friends and talk to strangers and smile at babies and laugh with strangers and share meals with friends, and that will be my protest. We won't give up, and that will be our protest. And say, the hell with you, and write poetry, and make love, and walk on the beach, and be grateful for the sun, and bare feet on sand dunes. And that will be our protest. And that will be our protest. I'm losing more than I'm gaining here. Popeye's mom, okay? Every day I would see her, the sassy old gal who made me smile at her comic book style. Saltier than the sea, with a sailor's swagger, given a pipe and cap, she looked to me like Popeye's mom. As tough as she was, her childlike antics kept guests in food lines entertained, while security panicked to head off yet another coup. She'd wink and say, "What do you think of that, baby?" Often, I'd find her seated at a table, collecting extra meal tickets whenever available. Then she turned with that mischievous grin and that gleam in her eye. I'm getting another tray. What do you think of that, baby? She'd sneak into places she shouldn't be, cut into lines, and slept under trees. The last time I saw her, she was running barefoot down the street. They all said she was crazy, but I tend to believe Popeye's mom was wiser than many, because she could turn Bluto into putty. What do you think of that, baby? All right, here we are. This is a good one. You're gonna like it. Welcome to the Hot L Hotel, where we aim to please our guests by the hour, day, week, or month. Oh, don't mind the sign. The E burned out some time ago when one of our guests plugged his guitar into it. It was quite a shock. The sign's never been the same, neither has been the guest. It took a while to clean the place up too. But here at the Hot L Hotel, we have many unique amenities to enhance your stay. For instance, every room at the Hot L is air conditioned naturally. Why, we have specially perforated walls, ceilings, and floors to provide you with excellent airflow. And a shower in every room. Just wait for it. Oh, and entertainment. Oh my, yes, we have that too. On every floor, at any hour, we have drama, mystery, and comedy. Performed live for your enjoyment. You may even participate in one of our exciting real-life murder mysteries. And we've got something for everybody. And for the kiddies, we have our very own child specialist, Uncle Chester. Uncle Chester loves kids. And kids love Uncle Chester. So you can be sure, no matter where you are, he will keep an eye on your kid. And you asked if we are pet friendly. Well, no one loves pets more than we do. So, even if you don't have one, we'll give you one, or two, or completely free of charge. Our rates are competitive, our service is out of this world and non-existent. So, in closing, let me say, the staff and management of the Hot L Hotel can guarantee that no matter how long or short your stay, you will leave with a smile on your face. And possibly a slight rash, but talk to the boy down the corner about that. Homeless old man. Now this is based on something that happened around 99, 2000. The Chronicles, maybe it's still do, I don't know, have a series that's called The Shame of the City. And there was an article about this man, and I would see him every now and then. And it was just a homeless old man. Homeless old man in a wheelchair, market in Van Ness, missing both legs and smelling piss. Day after day, crowds shuffle by, take no notice. None hear his cry. Spare change, spare change. His craggy voice barely a whisper. In a flurry of traffic horns and streetcar rattle. But then one morning, mid siren shrieks and traffic horns, the crowds hurriedly shuffled by. Such a shame in the pouring rain that no one noticed how heaven cried when the homeless old man finally died. Okay. Oh, okay, well, yeah, all right. We'll finish it off with my favorite. This titled Blessing. Lord, God bless us tonight. Everything's gonna be all right. Cried the toothless lady in the sequin hat, silvery cane, wearing flip-flops in the rain. Hey, Mama, she called to me. I'm my cane. May God bless you in your pain and help you to use it for spiritual gain. She prayed for me. I silently smiled. I haven't been blessed like this in a long, long while. Lord, bless this vessel for your use. May it be pleasing to you. Imagine that, I quietly thought. This poor lady prayed for me with all I've got. This sequin, flip-flop angel, prophetess, sinner saint, speaking truth to life on a rainy night. Lord, God bless us tonight. Everything's gonna be all right. Thank you.
All right, Miss Zoriya. Again, my name is Ross Joseph. Can I help you here? Thank you. Oops. Oh, good. All right. So we've had schedule changes, and it's all good because we, in the Tenderloin, have a plethora of poets. So, I'm not a poet, I'm just a clown. But I want to introduce someone who really actually was the inspiration, one of the inspirations for us doing what we're doing today. Artsy Granny is her name. Kim, we know her. She's going to come up and do a couple of things for us. But she put together a group called the Tenderloin Artists Guild. That got us thinking about how we can, as artists, take control of public places and do work. You know, I think more than ever, we really need to have folks who are speaking truth to power, and different manifestations are comedy, music, writing, storytelling, but particularly poetry. Poets have a remarkable way of shedding light in otherwise dark places. So I want to thank Kim for being here today. She's an unexpected guest. I'm going to set you over this microphone. All right. I also want to thank the folks who are listening to us on the live stream. Some of you folks know that we do work out in Detroit. It's called, Motown, the Linwood Heights Art Series. So I told them when we were coming out to San Francisco to do some work out here, and they said, well, what kind of poets do we have out there? I said, well, the poets out in the West are hard, full of fire, or as Cornell likes to say, prophetic fire. So, Miss Kim, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm very honored to be here, and I get to things I love most, which is poetry. I came here to the Tenderloin homeless and got myself off the streets and through a lot of love of this community and the people of this community, the organizations, and then being introduced to art again. I had written when I was a kid and had kids, grew up. I don't know if you consider this prophetic, but I do whine a lot. So this is called Campaigning for Success. So another whisper is blowing in the wind. Prop C, what is that to you and me? It means one day behind closed doors a deal will be made. A deal where all the greedy were able to agree. Ah, but wait, there was definitely an oversight. Tenderloinians, we were not allowed to be there. We weren't represented, it seems. But we rolled up our sleeves and we rallied our cause. As Tenderloinians, that means many a text, an email, a phone call to be made, and artists to create flyers and notify the community. We meet, we get to eat, then we get to complain. Then we plan our attack. Prop C, what are you for real? What are you for real to me? Then Matt with the tight hiney, who is Matt Haney? A young man, a man wanting to have a seat, a man who says he wants to make changes. Oh really, say I, as we meet one day. Oh, and there he was, storming tornado speed on his little phone. Oh, but wait, he's different. He actually stopped and talked to one of his constituents. Will he really be our voice someday? Will he really make those changes? One can only hope, and one can only wait to see. So now we double down. We double down for Prop C and Matt Haney. As they predicted, polls are all down. But wait, we are definitely the Tenderloinians. We don't give up, we never have. Even when they spend those millions on TV to whine about how unfair it is, to have to give back a small piece of what was ours to begin with, that our own city gave away as a tax break. Money that we need to house and feed us. Money you spend on sports arenas. Here we are on the day of polls saying the worst. Everyone marching, drumming up those last minute votes. Hark, what is that whisper? The people's voices are actually being heard. Shouts of joy begin as we learn. Prop C has passed? And Matt Haney, he made it in that seat? We the Tenderloinians, we here, we voted, we said, we, no more homelessness, no more hungry, no more prejudice. You stay out of my bedroom, I'll stay out of yours. What is that I hear? Effing figures, a lawsuit is filed in the playgrounds for the rich criminals, where the greedy get to whine some more. No, we don't want to do what the people say we have to. We only want it our way. So stay this, while I gather your pay to make it go back our way. So then again the winds whisper, they turn into wails at the news. That is sure, as sure as the wind blows. Though the Tenderloinians, we won't give up. Nope, we're here. We're here to say that yes, we are real, yes, we are human, yes, we count. Yes, we are here, yes, you will hear us, whether we whisper or shout. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, sorry if I need just a second. My little technology here doesn't serve as well as everybody else's. I did a lot in having to really interlook, as they say, at who I am and what went on around me and what I was raised to believe, what I was forced to believe. And it never matches when I walk outside my door and what I actually see in real life. So, I hate to say it, but reality doesn't really work as a real word for anybody who wants to live on this planet in peace. I'm sorry I'm experiencing these technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. Maybe I got it. This is called Fear of the Gutter, scientific name unknown. Today's a bad day. The fear is very strong. I thought my strength was better than what it is today. It's crumbling as I push through the drug dealers again. My feet are dragging. And then I see you sitting over there next to that curb with a bag and some clothes in your hands, scattered shirts and pants. And I watch as you have to get dressed in that gutter. And I am walking towards a place where I'm trying to go to heal. But with my pen clenched in my hand, my med pen, I admit, and almost to my destination, I want to turn around and run. Even though only 10 minutes earlier, I had been laughing at myself for doing that very same thing, not being able to decide what shirt to wear today. So the screams, they start again. And then fear comes again. Will I do something wrong again to end up back in that same gutter with you? And end up again like you, without a home. But somehow, I find the strength, and then I move on. Nothing can ever take away the pain of what we all know and can't do anything about. But we all have a right to not have to feel guilty for it, especially those who try so hard to do so much. I got that healing today. Came outside and said hello and hoped that sometime that day you would somehow get hope. And I go home and I'm blessed that the screams don't come back for just a little while. But when I lay my head down every night, I seem to find a way to return. Some call it voices, some call it screams, and call it just plain having to see hate every single day of my life. Amen. So I would entertain you with a song, but I'm not a very good singer, but I do want to say how blessed I am to be here today. And this is one of the art groups that I really love being a part of, because they really do help a lot of people. Help people find that place, that strength to talk when they don't think they can or have a right to anymore. And for that, I want to say thank you to all of you out there listening. Thank you for hearing me today and letting me into your hearts. Bless you. Thank you.
You know, y'all could do a little better. Come on. She just did a true confession. And the great thing about it is genuine. So like I said, today we're flying by the seat of our pants, topsy-turvy kind of world that we live in. So we have people who are blessing us today with their performances who we had not anticipated. Kim is one of them, Zoriya is another. I'd like to introduce this next gentleman who's come prepared to share with us. Put your hands together for Mr. Bill Mercer.
Yes, all right. First, thank you for memorializing Marlene. She was just a really special person. She was. So I've got 3 points about words. Here we are, doing words. Fortune cookie. The 2 half shells lie on the plate, empty. A small void opens in my day. The mundane words that make a day, that fill a life, that usher us into the future, are not there. I look again to be sure. My fortune cookie is empty. I will not meet new friends. I will not be lucky with money. I will not take a trip. I will not be successful in business. I will not find happiness. The scoffed at words that soothe and reassure us are not there. Disgruntled waitress brings another cookie. I pause for a few moments, then, with some anxiety, break the cookie in half. The cold claws of the void grab me in earnest. It is empty also. I think about the machinery of the cookie maker, about the timing that delivered 2 empty cookies at exactly that place in the jar. I think about the intricate machinery of my life, the roulette wheel that stopped me here at this restaurant at exactly the moment the 2 fortuneless fortune cookies waited. The first to void my future, the second to certify the void. I look out of the window at an eerily empty street, devoid of the normal ranting traffic. I think of the usual flow and cross-flow of life, the usual commerce and clutter of lives that delineate and define us. And at the core of all of this, hidden behind fortune cookie words, lies the void. Words. Words wind up the world like a grandfather clock. They shackle us to rank and tick-tock us to beauty. Priests pulpit prayers to the parish. Politicians propound propaganda to the body politic. Poets peacock their poems to posterity. Professors expound on their polemics. Peddlers push their products. Promoters peddle their programs. False prophets preach to the people. But when that great clock of the world unwinds, the time is bent into a circle by the gravity of a peach and the scent of honeysuckle, then floats upward on the updraft of music while the clock hands clap to the rhythm of joy. Our Cinderella bodies become palaces of pleasure, and our unwound words, divorced from the rigid march of rectilinear time, are translated into evanescent jewels, like the diamond and emerald dew, glittering in the magical morning light. And one more, this is kind of about us, kind of about people that meet like this and, going against the current of things. It's called Polished Pebbles. In stealth we band together. Our tongues sling our polished pebbles, gathered of our heart against the massive walls and against the ravenous beast coiled inside, tended and fed by the gray-suited minions, unctuous and smug and cruel, basking in the illusion of reflected power. Our beautiful stones chip small chunks from the massive walls made of dogma and orthodoxy, fitted together with the mortar of cynicism. They do not disturb the relentless spiral dance of the all-consuming coiled beast. We ask among ourselves, what is this beast, and from where did it come? The answer comes in whispers, carried by the midnight wind, and echoes inside our skulls. It came from us, from each of us, from us all. It begins inside us, small and cute as a wolf cub. We each said, this is a harmless thing. I will keep it and feed it and control it and let it perform for me. But it grew and grew inside like a chick inside an egg until it had consumed us. Then it broke free of us and leapt out into the world. Again, we ask among ourselves, if this has come from us, why do we not know its name? This time the sledgehammer winds of noon hammer the answer, because it has no name. When it was a small thing inside you, it was called greed. But loosed into the world, greed mingled with greed. All the colors of greed merged and collapsed into each other, into one single thing, a naked singularity. It has become an all-consuming black hole in human life, beyond the limits of naming. When the sledgehammer winds swing off toward evening, we pause to watch the beast being fed. Complete watersheds, forests, rivers, whole species of life, oceans of bounty, the lives of the innocent and guilty, the food of the cold, the laughter of children, the voracious moth eating of the air of our lungs, the future of our offspring, the history of our ancestors, all spinning into that omnivorous spiral dance. We look at the monstrous beast in its spiral dance. We look at the massive walls that protect it. We look at the small dents and chips in those walls from our polished stones, and our thoughts shrink. Our thoughts say, this is futile. Our thoughts say, this is hopeless. Give up. Accept your fate. Then our hearts cry out, it doesn't matter if it is hopeless. It doesn't matter. We must do what we must do. So again, we are on the riverbanks, searching for the beautiful stones that our hearts can polish and our tongues can sling.
Thank you so much, Bill. Ross Joseph is just coming to the fore now. Actually, before we go on to our next poet, we have a special thank you to the Demonstration Gardens Sewing Circle, which is comprised of Stu Gary and Lynn Ogata and Addie Kroll, Sister Addie Kroll, and myself. We got together and we made some aprons, and we're going to model them for you now. We want to show you the new Demonstration Gardens aprons.
Don't be shy now, get up here and show those aprons off, y'all. As they prepare, I want folks to know that we have a couple more poets on the program today. Actually, it's really amazing that we have these folks participating in our endeavors. One poet is Mr. Charles Blackwell. You know what? The extraordinary Mr. Charles Blackwell. Okay? Yeah. Charles, people in Detroit know who Charles is even as I speak, because he's that kind of gentleman. And after Charles's set, we're gonna have Tongo. Is that right? Am I pronouncing it correctly now? And this young brother here, he's a very modest young man, except when he's playing guitar. So one day we're gonna have him bring his guitar over here too, so we can all jam together. But come on now, come on,
Okay.
center stage, please.
Come on, Mr. Alex.
I think we need a little music or something, right?
Oh, music.
Here she comes. Yeah. Oh, is that a stripper too?
No, we're leaving our aprons on, thank you very much. So we really want to thank our benefactors who helped us make these, and this is only the first edition. We're going to have aprons for anybody who wants to come in and work with us in the future. But this is just the first version of them. And Sister Addie Kroll made these, and Mr. Stu Gary, all around the demonstration garden.
Are they for sale?
No, the only way that you ever get to wear one of these aprons, and guarantee you that you always will get to wear one, is if you come and garden with us.
All right.
So once a demonstration gardener,
Always a good one.
that's correct.
You can't say we don't have fun here. I always thank the folks whose shoulders I stand upon. So, I'm going to give a shout out to another extraordinary artist. The Bay Area's got so much talent out here. It's just unbelievable. But I met this gentleman maybe about 6, 7, 8 months ago, and he was kind enough to bring his crew into the house, whom I love dearly. If you ever have a chance, you need to go see Merchants of the New Bazaar. Yeah, because, I don't know.
Never be the same.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like Dada meets punk or, Duchamp. If you imagine Marcel Duchamp doing a vaudeville show, but only with it's just unbelievable. But the Merchants of the New Bazaar are one of my favorite groups of San Francisco, but they're also San Francisco's favorite band, all right? Without further ado, put your hands together for Mr. Charles Blackwell. Well, as Charles takes his time getting up here after that stellar introduction, I want to remind folks that we're here every first Saturday and that we are engaged in community-based neighborhood arts programming. So, once again, put your hands together for Mr. Charles Blackwell. Charles Curtis Blackwell.
You want to put it in a stand or? No. Put it in a stand. Oh, cool, yeah. Can I give you this? Can I give you this? At a certain time, the second cup. Oh, I thought you did. No, I wish I did. That's okay. All right.
On Turk Street, we ran up Turk Street, and so suspicious, past Fifth Avenue, where the ancient Aztec ghosts roam about mysteriously. Just before arriving, with aspirins in hand, mental anxiety had become home Once again, tension mounting in my temple of worship, now a temple of doom. The ocean waved at us. I could hear it sloshing for miles, miles away. His trumpet, to love you dearly, became full of spite. The long quarter notes, likened unto the bus ride down Gary Street, ceased the seagulls to exit the city on a trolley, the same as Cousin Henry, over the hill, over on Skid Row, where shopping carts stay greased and ready at all times to roll neon blue, being discussed, deemed as insurmountable cruelty, anticipation of coins falling. We begged harder. Alone, an ex-boxer sent a query letter suggesting revenge in the ring, a ring of fire. I wanted to leave. Now, in the shadows of love, we embraced. Coins falling from holes in my pockets. She left me, standing in the shadows, weeping at the moon. Instead of our mournful delight, it turned into regrets. Regrets of not having enough money to spend the night in a doorway where a fortune teller resided. I missed out on Black History Month. So, sorry I didn't make it. Every day is Black History Month for me. You know, I just found out just this week, they did this thing about Oregon. And in 1857, this guy, his name was Burnett, he came to Oregon from Kentucky, brought his 2 slaves with him, and he introduced what they call the Exclusionary Act. Now when I was in, high school, you kind of, things are so smoothed over in this country. Well, the Exclusionary Act meant no Negroes or mulattoes allowed in the state of Oregon. And if so, if you tried to remain, you could be taken and whipped. This is the Exclusionary Act in Oregon. And so they were saying that this is the reason why, the history of Oregon with this white supremacist groups go way back to 1857, right? Okay, so anyway, Burnett, he became an official of Oregon. If I'm correct, he might have been the governor. He has a big title, okay? So then, he was kind of got everything established in Oregon. So he came to California, and he became governor of California. And so he tried to introduce this thing in California, no Negroes allowed, in California. So they got voted down, okay, by the legislature. He got really frustrated. He tried once, twice, a few more times. And so then he got frustrated, so he quit as governor. And in the commentary, they were saying, well, California was far more progressive. Not so, it's not true. There were 600 slaves at Folsom, right outside of Folsom. It's a state park. It's called Negro Bar. So people came for the gold rush. They brought their slaves with them to mine gold. A lot of people don't know that, but you don't get that. That's why I got a F in history, because it was all smoothed over, you know. And when you get the truth, I got the college of I'm getting B's and A's. Give me the truth. Don't give me no BS, you know. So anyway, this is a piece. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, yeah. Just as far as the eyes can see, men, women, children, and babies coming to the land of liberty. Look over the ocean, look at what do you see? These women in chains looking like you and me. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Captured. Captured in the hiding prison. Moving from darkness to light. And back to darkness. Weeping each and every step of the way of the cross. As he sings Amazing Grace, I am brutalized by his whip, by him. Salvation for the asking, salvation unknown to him. I hear the waves sloshing against the ship's hull. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Ship approaching the harbor, ship approaching the shore. Unloading the cargo with chains, shackles, coming to a new land, arriving to a state of misery, heretofore and hereafter. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. And then this is what happens, years later. Years and years later, people talk about, what the horror of slavery did. Now you can, not some voodoo crazed actor come, but still as if still in your hour. Now you can drive that 55 Buick all the way down to Monroe, Louisiana, gleaming through the dark, riding through the sorrow of the night. That 55 Buick rolled, and there ain't a cat alive that can touch it. Nah, that 55 Buick, smooth and gone all the way. The farmer down the road is raising ostriches just to pluck their feathers. They are white, yet he adds a patch of blue. A robin sits, his eyes squinting. A clown arrives with makeup arranged like a Picasso painting. A facade, yes, For we are always in need of a masquerade to help us, Lord. The ponytail girl downstairs, she squats, she squints her eyes to the dust as Granddad clutches her thighs. Like mashed potatoes, cool and served, just like Mama would make it. So I would come to the hour of that blazing July Detroit summer's night. You ever see a chicken with his neck wrung and being rained on, his head jerking from side to side, dead, yet alive? Sunday evening dinner after church. Come, let us give thanks for the food we are about to receive. That chicken fried and crispy. As dust falls on Louisiana Highway 21. Gypsy moss hangs soggy, humidity standing for attention, as it falls on her cream-colored skin. Strong enough to withstand bullets like bulletproof glass, shimmering in the sun. And the wind cries merry through pecan leaves, and that little girl calls out for her daddy to weep for her. My God, I tell you, we can hear the sound of her screams being muffled in the closet by his hands alone. It is an act of terror, solemn to the touch. And yet, we don't know from whence and where it came from. And it brings on such a tragedy running so deep. Thighs so serene, golden to the touch of someone born just a few days after slavery. I think I got it. "36 lines past the A train. I received an Easter card, signed Mother. 2,000 miles away, I'm living with another woman. The card bore an image of Christ on the cross. I had a John Coltrane album playing. Atop my kitchen table sat some photographs, images of artwork, in search of a place. Outside my window, I noticed a man digging in a trash can in search of food and want. Every day a woman arrives. She digs for cans, bottles. It's disheartening, almost unbearable and sorrowful to watch. I pause for a moment, listen to the jazz, and think maybe to meditate on the plight of the world, where I'm at, hope, and a prayer. But in the distance can be heard the sound of a subway car running over tracks, train running wild, train running iron horse going upward toward the Bronx to Harlem, 125th, iron horse moving, pushing, pulling, cars, trains, tracks, everything running past and loud, the noise can't be contained, running the train, pushing, shoving, pushing, running, train, hold it, oh no, wait a minute, just a moment, hold on. The card was nice. It was about the nicest thing I received in quite some time. The image of Christ on the cross, my mother having signed it. It gave me a sense of longing, a sense of hope, a sense of longing to belong to. And this is kind of connected. It's kind of a situation I was in. And thought it'd be a good idea to present it if I could figure out which way the paper goes. I was in a court battle that ran for 13 years. It was horrible. 13 years of my life, I couldn't quite, you're trying to come and go, trying to do something, and to this day, I very seldom wear a suit because, lawyers said, be sure and put on the suit. Meanwhile, she tried to walk out the back door with all my shit. People tell me they're lawyers. I think I lost respect for them a long time ago. If you ain't a Johnny Cochran or, somebody, they fine to me and them. So anyway, and it was a family battle. And what happened is a strange thing. It's kind of like it affirmed my belief that Jesus said, what you sow, so shall you reap. And some people did read something that was really tragic, Conflict surrounding death. As the weight bears down, alone I feel in my wait for God to move as the weight bears down. Turmoil, running, conflict, raging, deep, and mercy nowhere in sight. My God, fight my battle. Hear my plea as I cry myself to sleep. As God moves in the quiet, strange ways. I cried harder and I prayed harder. My God has heard my cry and seen my tears. Praise Jesus, praise. This is in response to another little thing someone did earlier. I wanted to add this in. When tears fall here near the river's edge, daylight brings breath. Breathe dim in submerging shallow waters, going over and over, blended by the mercy squeeze out of us. Over and over again we give to ourselves the only comfort we know, a sympathetic sorrow our souls embrace, only to die again as we fall here near the river's edge, forced to return to this place until we seek the beauty of God's amazing grace. Couldn't get no CD, but I know what to do. I know most of you heard of Coltrane, huh? D-Train was moving. And the name of this piece is called Real Leadership. D-Train was moving in the forefront as in D minor. Times the train. Wrestling wrestling with the Windy City. The Windy City where corruption breeds and is born daily. Forces beyond control. And in a hurry, as in hurry home, hurricane, or hurry home, train, to the eclipse of C minor. An eclipse with all those notes blending in and left behind. Last exit, lost exit. Flatbush Station, 125th, Louis Armstrong, right home. Harlem Shuffle, no more. Done played out. Busboy, dish up that fried chicken. Squeeze the notes until the horn cries. In a safe haven, in the lead, pure leadership. All musicians give praise to the train. Motor, engine, blaring, sounding, on impact, in the totality of the coal train. It's kind of funny. I can put on, I still do it. I put on Coal Train, and I must have wrote a 10-page poem one night. If you ever get a chance to hear, it's a double CD, I think a double album. It's called Africa, and it just goes like one big long cut, you know. So, is that it?
Yes, sir. Oh. Unless you got more?
Huh?
You got more?
Yeah. Want me to do one more?
One more, come on.
Since just to kind of spice it up, okay?
Uh-oh. I know how spicy you get.
Becoming is where is and where ain't. Is somewhere in between. Is so. Sometimes is ain't nothing. But give me some more is. No change to jingle, blues running solid, hat on backwards, but give me some more is. Chico Hamilton crossing the river. Chico Hamilton, a man from two worlds. Drumbeat rolls, sticks fly, drumbeat rolls, sticks fly, roll on, drum and roll on, as I make my bed in swallow dry places. Pink, the color pink, rolls through my mind, blinking to that drumbeat. Another cold night, the sun was out discovering who is who. As I make my way across the river, I can see my light come shining. Shine on me. Touch me, woman, and set me inside free. God and Mercer, be with me. I must have washed these jeans 36 times. Meanwhile, back over the river is deep. The river is long and crossing. Ding, pling, and the ding, class struggling, and in the wheel I know runs elsewhere. This runs solo, straight, no chaser, and many would have had on running to bring him back on stage. Come on, monk, ruffle my brain. Interrupt sleepless nights and long-awaited cries, distant moans and quiet sighs. Another ding, another pling, and a D and a plea, the F sharp was held momentarily in place as Monk's elbow rested on a key. A pebble of water set atop a sheet of glass. It trickled downward until it went all the way to the bottom of the wang pane window pane. Dew fell hard against this mournful morning, causing my train to run past the ghetto and the river's edge. Await time, I say, await. In so soon some sunny shadow, someone else is in pain, and it somehow allows me to be who I am. Monk spinning around on stage, squashed. Monk spinning around on stage, squashed. He was trying to be himself. The sun shines over the river. The sun shines over there in a fluke. Thank you very much.
Mr. Charles Curtis Blackwell. Yeah. You know what? Well, as a matter of fact, he's asked me to shamelessly promote his books and CDs that he has for sale. So, I think what was that I heard? How much are they?
10. The one book is 15. It's called Mississippi Mud.
Mississippi Mud.
Everybody else is 10.
And we have a special today, $2 only.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll make it special.
But if you want him to sign it, it's another 20. So, I don't know what to say. The Mueller report's been released, and we're sitting here wondering what we're going to do next. Everybody's talking about Trump, but it's a constitutional crisis that we're in, abuse of the executive branch of government, and we're looking at the spineless Republican Senate sit silently. So, 2020 is coming. If you haven't registered to vote, please do. Get out there and participate. We do have some power, even as they attempt to marginalize us. We still have more power than they can consider. Once again, I want to thank all the poets who have participated thus far. R.C. Granny, Zoriya, Mr. Charles Curtis Blackwell, Mr. Bill Mercer. Thank you. Yeah. So, a round of applause to all those folks who make these things happen. As I'm talking to you, I'm adjusting this microphone so that this next poet can reach it. I met this young man about 8 months ago. I saw him, QR Hand, and a bunch of guys were doing something on that Bird Beckett. I'm going to plug certainly QR. He inspires me to no end. He's a tremendous treasure in the Bay Area. If you ever have an opportunity to go see QR, please do. Also purchase his books. We all need each other's support. But this next artist was at Bird Beckett. And Bird Beckett, if you folks don't know, is a bookstore in Glen Park. And the owner, whose name is Eric, has been doing neighborhood arts programming there for almost 20 years, I think now. Almost 30 years I've been reminded of. But if you have an opportunity to go hear music over there or any event at all, please go over there. But that's where I saw this young man. And I don't really know how to describe him, except he was talking about 6th Street. I kind of could relate to what he was talking about, what was happening up on 6th Street. I'm like, oh man, so, we do have some kind of commonality, But I really love his energy. I really love his presence. I wouldn't want to play basketball with him because, he could be intimidating. And as a guitar player myself, I really admire his guitar playing that he's mastering now. Hopefully one day again he will grace us with his musical self beyond just the words he's about to convey. So let's have a warm round of applause for Mr. Tongo.
Have fun. Have fun.
Apparently, too much of San Francisco was not there in the first place. This dream requires more condemned Africans. Or put another way, state violence rises down. Or still life is just getting warmed up. Or Army life is looking for a new church and ignored all other suggestions. Or folktale writers have not made up their minds as to who is going to be their friends. This is the worst downtown yet. And now I've borrowed a cigarette everywhere. Now I've taken many a walk to the back of a bus that led on out the back of a storyteller's prison sentence, then on out the back of slave scars, but this is my comeback phase. I left my watch on the public bathroom sink and took the toilet with me. Threw it at the first bus I saw, eating single mothers half alive. It flew through the bus line numbered and on out the front of the White House. Hopefully you find comfort downtown, but if not, we brought you enough cigarette filters to make a decent winter coat. Special species of handshake. Let's all know who's king and what's a lifespan of uniform cough. This coffin needs to quit acting like those are birds singing. Rusty nails have no wings, have no voice other than that of a white world dying. Their book pages in the gas pump, catchy isn't it? The way 3 nooses is the rule, or the way potato sack masks go so well with radio codes, or the way condemned Africans fought their way back to the ocean only to find waves made of 1920s burnt up piano parts, European backdoor deals, and red flowers for widows who spent all day in the sun mumbling in San Francisco. And red flowers, but what's the color of a doctor visit? There are book titles in the streets. Book titles like Hero, You Make a Better Zero. Or, A Fur Coat Lady, The President is Dead. Or, Pay Me Back in Children. Or, They Hung Up Their Bodies in Their Own Museums, and other book titles pulled from a drum solo. Run Here, Hero, Live the Hiding Place. All the bullets in 10 precincts know where to go. It's no heaven, nor any other good idea in the sky. Politics means that people did it and people do it. Understand that when in San Francisco and other places that was never really there. I bet this ocean thinks it's an ocean, but it's not. It's just 6th and Mission Street, all know who's king. King of thin things, like America, I'm proud to deserve to die. I'm gonna eat my dinner extra slow tonight in this police state candy dispenser you all call a neighborhood. No set of manners goes unpunished. Never mind a murderer's insomnia, or a tea kettle preparing everyone for police sirens. From a 2-floor skyline, an abandoned house talked to me and said, young man, you are heroic and 10 years old. Among 20 generations of friends will free fall away, they will free fall up, they will free fall the walls with 5th grade speed to industrial paint behind secondhand fences. Young men use quick knife tones, be bone and brass, be last laugh music, you are always leaving. Always one change of clothes from the door, a life and escape, a 2-floor skyline says you're the guy that dies in the middle, the friend more blues than skin, the face that cheap hotel schizophrenics can place with 90 miles per hour right eyes among dry heat killers, once children, 3 feet high and roaming and repeating and aiming at cotton mirrors that hang on breathing walls. You were 10 years old, tagging along, yawning at well-lit violence, whistling tool shop songs. You will be useful, you will be high and alone. Flying on a nephew dragon from a $20 family in the sky that calls itself just more soil around walls that are just walls, except these walls suggest that you make wives out of highs and currency. Here the air is polite to sleepy glass and bullying walls. Young man, you will come to admit that sometimes suicide is power, because some people live stronger as ghosts, and sometimes the afterlife empties Billions of souls enter objects like playground bullets and abandoned door frames. Even broken glass will prove it has voice too. There are 24 hours behind your back. Look over your shoulder right now. Can you hear the sound of drums punching themselves out? The sound of piano parts learned in between assassination attempts? Be bone and brass. Now be bone enough for two souls. Be invincible again. Suffer red-eyed accents, professional fingertips, gifted victims, 6 in the morning beer, the first month of probation, the shout at the wall, see these words that shouldn't be home. Look behind you again. Be invincible again. Be windward. Be a sad machete. Be her son. Be a thief. Steal his back. Laugh too long. Never look away. The afterlife will empty and walk you home. You know, a lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven though. Here's a man before a fight. A leave me alone type character. Emerging from the painless death of a one-way street fiction. That's just a fancy way of saying I'm gonna make it even if I have to drive backwards. All I got is chord changes and 1,000 backhands, driving the street like I'm choking a car full of nephews. Hasn't been a sun since November, and there hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. Hey, you see this gun on the table? And something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone on my death sleep late? My son better be quick, my daughter better shoot first because we fold for no one. You know, we fold for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is the heat. This lady would telling me about possession and drink life need is what I mostly hear. Most of the world leaves me alone to breathe small like a giant to go to jail every once in a while when the genocide kicks up in late May when politicians have too easy a time. I'm gassing backwards out of one-way street in honor of myself and in honor of you, if you understand the nature of the world. And how long I've been just like my father, one hell of a resemblance, says the anxiety of the neighborhood. This is a crossroads narrative, so much crossroads, people get in the habit of turn back only to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words, a man before a fight. You'll feel the heat, but there's nothing to keep in mind, there's nothing to remember, really, there's nothing to be, just this moment, then another, then stare, then it all becomes stable, then the table legs go fuzzy, and Friday's an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. Hey, it's cool to panic for a second. Composure is wasted on your worst enemies. You know, people are marked on that sidewalk. You're the only thing life-size. Everybody knows this in a wire hanger empire. When the blood stops walking, that feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fold. You better swing one more time. You know, that father of yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said, running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, and all alongside this water. And people don't rise from the grave. You know, they're not laid down neither. It's us who flip all around their body. So, be wearing when the people, you know, all around you look like they about to jump. It might be your time. You'll feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls and the earth outside meets, don't panic. Don't try to recreate the earth outside. Don't tell jokes to yourself. Don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fists and walk away. There might be heaven if you understand the nature of the world. Thank you. Guided by teeth goes this country. There is a cow's mouth on the flag. a peculiar notepad, you know, holds street life dear. But the writer is not here. He's somewhere talking to tombstones about the good old days, or splashing reborn water on his latest face, or wondering how his old gun is doing in the afterlife. Wondering how much death trap is in those gas stations out there. There gotta be $1 million a day on this concrete island. You know, new engine in the moon, why it never goes down. I mean, 72 straight hours of night, at least according to everyone's posture around here. 8:30 in the morning is really 30 minutes to closing. The city shuts down for a sleepy rat race. Elevator shoe shuffle to the nearest heaven, laughing with rats the whole way up. Hey man, it's scams everywhere. In puddles of city, in concentrated schools, in TV lit warm rooms, the light reveals military fatigue when it hits just right on the ties that are wrapped around the necks of lazy white guys. Empire is too easy, baby. Chant at the walls or something if you feel like it. Best way for a target to move is shooting back. Running for a tree line made of freeways. Wisdom says, against a war machine on Tuesday, you stand no chance, but may we be the last poor men to play it safe. Cow's mouth on the flag. A politician raises his hand, and the crowd shows their teeth. An olive guard raises his hand, little girls are not safe outside. You are all high, depressed, and comrades in function. In 15 minutes of closing in the city has survived another rebellion. You know, we just paying dues by trash fires, not just anybody can set. And don't you love how deadly things whisper in the moment and people kill like feathers fall with everybody screaming inside? The writer knows that death is not a matter of dignity, rather humor. In a house that smells like roach races, nuclear percentages on torn stoves, I mean here life never was, just lazy matches and manic inhumanity, hands rushing away from life towards souls. What we doing here? Surviving for no reason in particular, because nobody goes far today, nobody will go far tomorrow. Trust me, hell and heaven cannot count. Strange gardens where secondhand clothes play in concrete wishes to be human so that it could be accountable. Where they find you drenched and drains wish to be human so that they could be worthy arms for you to die in. Said, greet them all, grandson. Prepare for the day when every child is calm, but don't say we ghosts didn't write you a poem. And don't say we didn't dig your life. Remember the shotgun by the coat rack that everybody in the house knows how to use. Remember the tightrope made of needles for walking in between driveways and man-made best friends. Go ahead, grandson. Tune the street again. Never mind, this country kills musicians first. Hey, broken neck night, scarred neck life. If these walls could write lyrics, they say, what's your angle, angel eyes? 30 to 50 rounds pass by on the street with no daughters. This street has no sons, just young prisoners of war in a racist city that means to make capital, and we know so much. We know it all. We were stood against walls. Who's on the third cross around here? Cow's mouth, salivating over the street, and that is the story of why we aim at teeth. You know, there were hammers in my cradle, which made some people scared to check on me. Because God would have a devil and State Street would have a resurrection, and I'd be a menace to veins. Veins that the city protects the precinct flesh. You know, people actually work and marry here. The sun actually comes up. And have you heard the one about ghetto dwellers? Bang, they all duck. Well, look what the heathen jug in, man. What is that, my bullet? Who is that, your son? Have you heard the one about last names? Did you know that late night talk is the car door to the soul? I don't think we've been here before. In some type of criminal heaven, controlling every headlight for miles. If the journey has pain, it's the way I came. My name is on this sea. Royalty among minds would be my right hand, or be a brand new hammer, or wolves traveling at the speed city's end. Interpretations of shot men, you know, hands that only play souls that actually found and fists get a road trip too. Maybe you should mind me. Or maybe I paid too much attention to this black coat as I was growing up in a wrong room. At least the walls was nice, guys. At least I had this seat. At least I got this ocean winter words, freezing central time is up. My family relapses into suicidal neighborhoods and can't depend on me. When black children are sad, when there are guns everywhere, when death is here and I'm a new kind of nearsighted and she's a new kind of lovely death is. You know, right in front of you, all passes people getting beat up. I say, I'm not paranoid enough. You got a taste for violence. I've went to 3 funerals. Shit, the Lord gave his only begotten temper to me. Death knows me by nickname. I call it up and cute. Lord, let me see the enemy in my circle. Let me see that the enemy is my circle. Let my circle kill me. Let me not stay dead. See, I know who I am down to the street signs. Streets pass my life back and forth, pass me under gambling jokes and cigarettes, and here I am thinking this is what you call driving at night. Or this is what you call 35 miles away. Freeway and all smeared all over the city. Tell me how you write letters with a building on top of your head, with a building feasting on you, with 1,000 backs turned to your kids. Without her subtle gesture to interpret in the middle of a backfired resurrection with a president who is out to kill you. I only got one gun to speak of, still I sleep good in August. Then nobody talks back in traffic. An interestingly handsome bastard had to match a violent song. I mean, I'm like a hi-hat on its own. Motherless, though less of a child. Projectiles become tires, choirs suck down liquor. 5 floors become audience for a dancing killer. You just a dancing killer? Mid-water walk, outline all over the state. I've seen a bullet become a cheapskate. Bodies in a bargain, handsome but hard in prison air. Spanish cells, black as well. Run tell about my level. And what you see me do to water. And what you see me do to men. Last of a dying group of friends, another city. And you know, you can tell by my tires that not everybody who's driven with me is still alive. Shit, also that I like my drinks neat bottled in the bus stop. Also that we drowning in precinct paper, department store floor plans and applications to the moon. And we can change the color of our snot from gifted to heart attack. Tell you about ashes, where all these angels coming from, smelling like a cigarette that fails. And why is the man on the safe side of these headlights freezing up? You got nothing to say at my funeral, I'll speak on your behalf. Heroin in my smile, mountain made a flatland robbery, among some things on my mind. The last door run in the name of shared afterlife. Friday to the filter, I'm a tall tale on earth. But here's to that angel that never appeared to America in a night of dog paddle and a batch of hangovers looking for a home. You know, a lion wouldn't live this long. That's my humor when fences speak. Home up here, rambling dice, we got unique tempers and young souls that say, shut up about our city. Here title months crash over a coast, why lie? The streets' teeth are in pieces, there's reservoir art on the faces of stragglers, the sad news from back home that mean we gotta grow up on his behalf. Stumble back to a car full of last day and the truth is stale but still liquor. Mission Street would be proud of me. I'm a mural man, almost organized. You remember when my lungs would wake up last walking on morning fields work that man, I'm 3 decades homeless. And reservoir art is all out to see. And I'm 2,000 miles from my first fight. Maybe no one really survived. Maybe I wrote my first poem for no reason. I'm off to make a church bell out of a bank window. Kitchens meant more to the masses back in the day, and before that we had no enemy. Somewhere in America, the prison bus is running on time. You're going to lose a job before a revolution hits. Somewhere I won't be home for breakfast. Everyone out here now knows my name, and I won't be turned against for at least 4 months. The cop in the picket line is a hard-working rookie. The sign in my hands getting more and more laughs. It says, the picket line got cops in it. I can take care of those windows for you if you want, but someone else got to go inside your gas tank. It was clear to me that rich people had talked too much this year. Why don't you go ahead and throw down that marble park bench everyone's looking up at? You know, get the Romans out of your mind. And maybe a good night's sleep would have changed the last 20 years of my life, playing the instruments like punching the wall. What would you have me do? Replace the population? Give brotherhood back to the winter? Stop smoking cigarettes with the barely dead? You know, they listen in on the Sabbath. Police called the police on me. There was a white candlestick beneath my detention. I ruined the soup again, thought the judge as he took off his pilgrim robe behind a white people's door and one. I didn't get lucky, I got what was coming to me, he told us. They fight me back, the man said. Of course, to himself, washing windows with a will to live. Tin can on his left shoulder, enjoying the bright brand new light with all party goers, both supernatural and supernaturally down there. What is this elevator, traveling side to side? Like 1,000 bit of Polaroid pictures as you actually try to eat all the furniture on the street nailed to the cement. I mean, cheap furniture, but we have commitment. This morning, an essay opens the conversation between enemies. Why? Because you control every grain of processed sugar between here and a poor man's border. Because in the tin can on my left shoulder, I can hear the engines of deindustrialization. Bro, you should get in the painting, you know, tell lies more deeply. And this month, I'm rooting for the trader. Carting cement to my pillow, here we will build. I'm high again, not talking much. And once you climb up the organ pipe to our apartment floor, I'm high again, calling everything church, singing along to a courtyard, thanks to a horn player's holy past. I mean, yeah, I'm just putting a real jacket on it. Yeah. Talk about a real 5 years. Keep memories like these in the pocket next to the toll receipt. That man lost a wager with the God of good causes. I mean, stood up for himself a little too late. Shit, maybe too early. I can still see 20 angles of his jaw zigzagging through the cold world of deindustrialization. There's an art to it. I will tell my closest friends one day. Yeah. I'm just gonna take one more pass and get on out of the way. Should I go high or go low?
Your choice, poet's choice.
Okay. Capitalist dropped 10 tons of barbed wire onto my Tuesday shift. We shot back at the chimpanzee pilot for the sport. The contractor has already smoked 3 cigars only 1 hour into my court appearance shift. Supervisor likes the smell, says it reminds him of when he ran the streets. And all I remember is we shot back. A gated puppet dances alone, bars and jig, says I'm the happy one of legion. Meanwhile, kids commit childhood behind his wooden plastic joints, wire dodgers under this silly puppet, a silly puppet dancing for white heaven. Like weapon is a jacket, and precinct holds Friday hostage. We go through a fossil jar and see a judge. The tunnel at the end of the light, I sleep until woke by dry cereal and surrender, man. This holding cell only needs a giant panhandler's palm to shake us coin men around. I'm breaking my fingers for my sister's bill collectors. Garage casket open, I mean all third world parallels kill openly. Breaking my lungs for my sister's rent, I'm a sculptor of construction dust. I miss cigarettes by mid-morning, I miss Hennessy by sundown. I miss murder by inches, $5 bills cherish my days outside, always behind. Ain't no concentration in this courtroom. Just a bunch of B+ students living out their nightmares. How do I plead with a straight face? 2 blocks up is a reoccurring cliff, along with slavery's paraphernalia, along with the ordinary panhandler, along with ethnic parade history, along with the ethnic parade, along with 13th graders. But let's talk about the fact that 4 dead children later, I still don't have a problem beating you up in front of everybody. Let's talk about the fact that money is death, man. Down to my last $5 is what I call this shoe. 10 o'clock political education is what I call this dream. I got the job is what I call this blues. 2 days later is what I call a cliff. A tour guide through your robbery, he also is. Cigarette saying, look what I did about your silence. Ransom water and box spring gold this decade is only for accent grooming, I guess. Ransom water and box spring gold, the corner store must die. War games, I guess, all these tongues from his junk. The start of mass destruction begins and ends in restaurant bathrooms that some people use and other people claim. Are you telling me it's a rag in the sky? Waiting for you, yeah. We've written the scene, we set a stage. You know, we should have fit in. Warehouse jobs are for communists, but now more corridor and hallway have walked into our lives. Now the whistling is less playful and the barbed wire overcrowded too, my dear. If it is not a city, it is a prison. Man, if it has a prison, it is a prison, not a city. When a courtyard talks on behalf of military issue, all walks take place outside of the body. Dear life to your left, the medieval painting to your right. None of this really makes an impression. Crop people living in thin air. You have 5 minutes to learn how to see through this breeze. When a mask goes sideways, barbed wire becomes the floor, barbed wire becomes the roof. 40 feet into the sky becomes out of bounds. When a mask breaks in half, mind which way the eyes go. You know they killed the world for the sake of giving everyone the same backstory. We're watching Gary, Indiana fight itself into the sky, man. Old pennies for win. For that win film you get before the hood goes up and over your headache. Pennies that stick together, mocking all aspirations. I mean, stuck together pennies was the first newspaper I ever read. Along with the storefront dwelling army that always lets us down. Where the Holy Spirit favors the backroom souls in a situation that offer 100 ways to remain a loser. Souls watching a clock, hoping their eyes don't lie to sad people. What are we talking about again? The narrator asked the graveyard, 10 minutes flat. Said the graveyard, the funeral only took 10 minutes. Man, never tell that to anyone again. You just gonna pin the 90s on me, all 30 years of them. Then why should I know the difference between sleep and satire? The pyramid of corner stores fell on our heads, bro. We died right away. That building wants to climb up and jump off another building. These are downtown decisions. Somewhere on this planet, it's August 7th and we running down the rest thinking one more needs to come with me. What evaporated on Earth so that we could be sent back down? Capitalists eat until the world is blurry to them. These streets is made of saliva. And some people made of saliva too. They usually have on uniforms. While a crazy man spins round and round trying to make a record out of this mass production jungle, man, maybe I'll join them. You know, count cash and cry. These streets is made of saliva and white sheets are worn by a building in which kids are supposed to learn how to read well. White sheets on the highway too. Another mirror needs their head on the pipe. One down is just one down. But if you tell all this to the masses, your teacher will pipeline you. They told me I was jewelry. They told me this is jungle. Well, maybe not jungle, more like 50 machine guns planted in the ground. It's raining faces again in California. What does it say about heaven? See, what does it say about the people you killed? Wait lines got so exhausted, a million minds dropped all these faces at once. If the fascists can read the lips of a giant talking in his sleep, bro, we might as well make our demands in prison letters. Today was born the most important trigger finger in the world. All right, today I'll be done counting down the pages between now and Apollo Books by Tunnel. Chicago is going to walk out of Chicago one day. Babies that drag street signs like old toys. Today the most important letter left prison. Babies are laughing flags like faces that have disappeared. Maybe I'll join them, but for now, the streets is made of saliva and we raise half-full glasses to the basements that meant nothing and the working poor who live there, man, we get shot. You know, we get white sheets on California, but the kitchen table likes to talk as much as the walls of romance on the porch consist of hard residing. I mean, in this picture, characters talk spit and know that they are hard to kill. The kitchen table knows this. The porch is almost convinced that one down, man, is just one down, you know. This town is coming to town. A circus watching itself. Half distracted, half suicidal, thrilled children dressed as cops, thrilled children preaching and policing and intaking and hiring shit, snatching your money, man. This town's coming to town with tough trademarks to follow. Today, I watch capitalism walk on water. And people play dead so that they could be part of a miracle.
Wow, this microphone is really up. All right, come on, show your love for one of the Bay Area stars. You know, that concludes our programming for today. I want to thank all the poets, once again, Zoriya, R.C. Granny. I'm going to call some folks up here. Mr. Charles Blackwell. Who else was here today? We had Mr. Bill Mercer. Yeah. So all you folks come on up here because I need somebody to take a photograph of us to let us know that, you know, we were in fact here. You know, one of the reasons that we do this kind of work is to let folks know around the world that we are, in fact, in control of our own narrative. You know, there's Rodney over there playing piano. Yeah. You know. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we missing somebody? Who are we missing? We only have the 5 today. Okay. All right, so please, let's have a warm round of applause for the artists who performed today. Yes. Thank you so much. We have mad love and mad respect for all of you. So my folks in Detroit, these are what folks do out here in the West. So next month, Art in the Park will be featuring David Byrd Quartet. We'll also have the Thunder Puppets. So I also want to thank the folks who always make these things happen. Who are they? Come on, my bodyguard, Mr. Tony. These young men have been with me since the beginning, and without them, without our phones, yeah, without them, I would not have the pleasure of being here with you today, because these gentlemen helped make it happen. I also want to let folks know that Tongo has books for sale, so you know, we're going to shamelessly promote all the artists. Again, next month we have David Byrd Quartet. Oh, and for my folks in Detroit, for the Linwood Heights Art Series, we're going to have a hip-hop edition. So if you can't come out to Detroit, that's all good. You could always be streaming us or see us with our live streams, and someone's trying to get my attention.
What day of the month is it?
Oh, okay. Scheduling. First Saturdays in Detroit, third Saturdays in San Francisco. Once again, first Saturdays in Detroit, third Saturdays in San Francisco. Okay, be safe. Happy Easter to those who do celebrate Easter. Happy Passover. And folks, we'll see you on the next go-round. Thank you so much.